Okay. Welcome back to Most Man. Please remember to I'm gonna get good at this, I promise. Please remember to like, subscribe, ring the bell, and comment. We want to know. We need some comments. We need to know what y'all think, because this is how we grow. We're also on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeart, and jointhemensclub.com. That dovetails into themostmen.com. That is our Most Man website. So, I'm gonna blow my nose here real quick.
There's some quality podcasting right there.
Huh? No.
Yeah, I'll keep the camera over here while you take care of business. There you go.
Yeah.
Life is good. Hell, it's cold outside.
It is cold outside, man. And we did have a comment about me dry coughing a bunch. Well,
yeah,
number one, it's what elevated is I started smoking. I smoke a cigar every night now. But there's this medication I'm on that. So I had AFib, or will probably still have it. Yeah, I still have it, but it's where you have an irregular heartbeat. But anyway, it's the medicine that keeps you. It's not a blood pressure pill, but it's a blood thinner. But it's a real low dose. But I remembered it, but I didn't when we were watching him back. When I was watching him back, I was like, man, and I didn't take that pill today. I'll take it after we're done. But that's why I was caught. There was a guy in the comments was like, Jesus, this guy needs a coughing machine, And I was like, man, he's right, man, because I was coughing my ass off.
Yeah, that ain't fun.
Yeah, but no, it is. I remember when I first started taking it. So this podcast, we're gonna get back into jointhemensclub.com. Blah blah blah. Join the men's, but we're gonna kind of let it fly again. We're just gonna do a fun one. But I remember when I first started taking it, I'd be coughing and you're coughing and you can't. It's like there's a loogie back there, but you can't get it out. That's why you're coughing so. And then all of a sudden, you finally hit the exact perfect time. And it'll go shooting out of your mouth.
I hope you cough that way. I'm sitting across the table.
I remember I called my doctor and I was like, what in the hell is going on? He's like, yeah, you get a dry cough and,
My mother always called it a tickle. Oh, I got that tickle.
My dad used to say the same thing. I was like, well, quit smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, that might have something to do with it.
Yeah.
He'd say, quit smoking cigars.
Oh, he was always coughing and...
They worked in a concrete plant. I mean, that's what you're gonna have. Got a lot of dust floating around there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Love you, Dad. Yeah, he was a maniac. Yeah, but yeah, I said today. I said I'm gonna do it today. I'm not gonna take that pill until afterwards. It's not like it's that important. Anyway, it's not like I'm dying over here. Not like I'm.
Yeah, if I got to give you CPR, man, I'll stomp on you a little bit. Just
I called my doctor because I'm serious. In my truck, I have to clean. I had to be really careful because at first I was like, God, get this loogie out. And why am I coughing so much? Because allergies. I never used to get allergies. And then all of a sudden started getting allergies, and I was like, oh, okay, this is what everybody's complaining about. Allergies can be hell. But man, I would cough, and it what pissed me off if it would land right in front of me on my windshield.
Jesus Christ.
Or on my computer monitor. And I'm up there wiping it off, and it's like, dude, what is the deal with this? And he's like, yeah, that's part of it. He said that's why we want you to take it early in the morning so you can get all that out of the way. I was like, well. So, at any rate, we didn't have any really intro to start on, but I guess we could go back to what we said about the men's club and what the men's club is going to be about. And that is just that's the broad stroke brush of what I'm wanting the men's club to be about. Did it make sense to you, or do think it sounds confusing, or what were your thoughts on it?
Well, it's hard for me to say because I know a lot about it, so I can connect the dots, but I could see how it could be confusing to,
other people.
Some people.
Because that's what I'm trying to say is that's why I need comments on what I say, because this has always been my biggest problem in business, is that I'm a very visual and auditory guy, and that's my dad used to tell it to me. Everybody used to tell it to me. They were like, man, whatever's going on in your head, I would try to explain it to people, and I could explain it to them. But the problem is, did they, where I got frustrated, is did they understand it? That's why sometimes I get long-winded when I'm trying to explain something, because the way my brain thinks is that, why wouldn't you understand it? You see, that's where me and my dad, or when we were building the company, that's where the headbutt came from, is because I thought that he understood everything that I was saying, and he didn't.
See, Rich, man, but he tells people, he'll explain stuff to people, and I can see they're not getting it, and he's like, he'll go send them on a task that I know these people can't handle this task. And Rich like, oh, no, I got this. All you got to do, which is the famous, drives me crazy. All you got to do, and then he throws down like this monster description, how to use these tools that they don't have and never heard of or don't use. And that's like, man, and I would always say this, man, you just set him up for failure. No, he can handle it. I mean, he can handle it. It's like he didn't hear anything. I mean, I'm smart enough to know. He just went, okay, he's going to go. Hopefully he doesn't even try to fix what you just had, because if he doesn't try to fix it, it might be fixable. But once he goes working on it after what you just sent him out to do with those instructions, there was this glazed over look. Yeah, okay. And then Rich would be like, well, you do understand, don't you? And, yeah. Okay, then. It's like, no.
Well, but let me give you some perspective on what you say about Rich, because we're not exactly alike, but I see very, very, very similar characteristics.
But he's very technical and cerebral, and when you're explaining technical and cerebral to somebody who is not,
well, he's a fucking pilot.
Right over your head. No pun intended. Right over your head.
Yeah, he's a pilot, dude. You got to be right.
He can wire the dashboard of the space shuttle, but then he expects you to be able to go wire the space shuttle dash if he just
tells you how to do it.
Gives you a couple pointers. Yeah. It's like, no, they don't. There's shit in there that you don't even know what this thing does, let alone how does it work. And well,
that's that. But here, that, and again, nobody's going to hurt my feelings.
You got to know your audience. Do they understand? Are they even capable of understanding what you're telling them? And a lot of times these people weren't. But I think if he just said it twice, maybe they'd get it. It's like, you could tell them for a month they're not going to get it.
But it goes back to where me and him are similar. He's a pilot. I'm a captain I can run up to a 100-ton ship. That's a big-ass boat. Okay? You got to know, but here's the thing. You don't take people out in the middle of the ocean or up in the air without not being right and getting it right. And thinking it through. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? You have to have that flight plan. I had to have a flight plan, even though I'm on the water. But there was a note. Every trip that I took, there was a note left on my dresser if we didn't make it back where I was headed. And I would give it to my buddy Chuck. You know what I mean? He always, if I wasn't there at 5:30, 6 o'clock the latest, he was getting worried.
Yeah. Good deal. You got to have the plan B there.
Well, there's been times that he's called me. And he's like, hey, man, we lost a motor out here. And he just got lucky enough to be by an oil rig and caught cell service. And I'd go out there. I went out there and got him one time. Otherwise it would have been midnight by the time they'd have made it back, but it would have been midnight. slow chugging, on just one motor. But that's why it goes back to Boom and my dad. Just like you were, not that you're rich as Boom, but you're the one that kept the ship sailing. And yeah, Rich could go sell a big ass job, but that's why people think that he's crazy or a narcissist. Everybody used to say the same thing about me. My wife used to say that you're a narcissist, and it's like, you don't understand. I run a company. I have to be right. Now, I didn't make all the decisions. We had a think tank. Like I said, when we made a decision, we agreed on the decision we were doing. We all had our input. We had to be right. Otherwise, your employees or anybody else, they're like, see, you messed up too. You're scrapping me for messing up, and look what you did. They lose respect for you if you're not right. So, it's hard to explain. It's sometimes that was my biggest, and that's my biggest failure in life. I'm the same thing. I'm the same way as I think that people get it, and they don't. Just because I explain it like I do this. I do the exact same thing as Rich, is what you're saying. I'm not a really all you got to do, but I do say it a lot, and it's sometimes.
Well, it minimizes the task, and what's funny is, so he'll tell somebody, all you got to do is go, and then they'll get out there, and it's totally different than what he described.
Because he's not doing it.
And then if it doesn't get done, all they had to do was, and
because he ran into that problem 20 years ago. And he did it.
Like there was one of the classics was, I should have rehearsed this one because there's about 20 parts to it. So I'll just hit the ones I can remember. But it was, all you got to do is get the trailer, go to Spinks Airport. No, go get the trailer. All you got to do is go to Spinks Airport and get the trailer. It's an airport. It's locked. Can't get in. They got down there. There was a lock on the trailer. Then it had a flat. There was about 4 or 5 other things that. So by the time they got in, cut the lock off the trailer with, no tools, because all they had to do was go get it, not take tools with you. Get the flat fixed, the whole bit. They got back, these guys got back to the shop, and, it's like afternoon. It's like took 5 hours for this to happen. And he blew a frickin' gasket. All you had to do was go get the trailer. And it's still, then, well, it had a flat. What does that take? 15 minutes to fix? Now when you don't have a spare, I mean, it's just on and on. Another classic was, this just recently happened. There was this one particular job that wasn't, it kept circling back around with a problem. And finally I said, Rich, you got to get involved with this. And he said, why is it every time there's a problem, it lands on my desk? And I wanted to choke him to death. This is the first time in God knows how long that something came boomerang back through me to him, because I was about to hire people paying with his money, because it was a Rich's Heat and Air job. So it was going to be his money to fix, was even responsible to fix it. I mean, it was warranty issues, wasn't it? There was a lot of moving parts to this, and it was like, it's time for you to get involved. And then to be told, why is it every time it lands on my desk? It's like, this is 1 out of 100. So the 99 out of 100 that I always take care of, I didn't get any credit. I never got any credit for taking care of any of this crap.
I'm the same way, but I had, when that lady came in, I think her name was Linda, but she was a big, tough woman, man. I mean, because I told her, I said, who in the hell do you think you are talking to me like this in my own office? She said, no, you're going to listen to me. This is what I'm here for. And I'm going to give you the cold, hard truth of something that you you don't want. But I'm going to give it to you anyway. And you're not going to like half of what I say to you. But you're going to. But at the end of it, I wanted to give this woman a hug. Because she broke me down and was like, this is the problem. You are part of the problem. And it's because you expect everybody to be you. Or like you. Or think like you. And work like you. This is your company. You should be the hardest working guy here. You know, this was your idea. Nobody else thought of this but you. You started this. You just drug your dad into it. And you're trying to give him a career to earn some loyalty. Okay? You're the problem. Because you expect everybody to be you, and they're not. Otherwise, there would be 15 of you with a company like this if there were more of you out there. You are the problem. And when you figure that out, and again, that test was everything. Because it made you, it was a really tricky way of you being really, really honest with yourself.
So is this like a multiple choice?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
it's like, have you ever taken
how many questions?
Oh, shit, like probably like 300.
Jeez.
No, it was intense. It took me all evening to do it. It took me like 3 or 4 hours. Yeah. But that's what she told me. She said, I want you to, she told both of us, I want you to think about how you, have you ever taken a personality test?
Nothing extensive. I maybe just, 10 questions or something.
No, they've got a personality test. You can look it up online. It'll tell you if you're, there's these, I'm an Enneagram 9, level 9, which is basically I'm a critical thinker, but I'm not level 10, I'm level 9, which 10 is the top. But if you're honest, you just look it up. It's a personality test. It'll tell you who you're compatible with, who to hire. Well, this test is the one that gave me who to hire and how to hire, what personalities that I work well with and that work well with my personality. Because think about if you got somebody that's like me, he's going to tell me to fuck off all the time.
Oh, yeah. You butt heads.
Yeah. So, but the personality test will tell you a lot about yourself if you're honest. But this business test was, it wasn't that I was wrong. It wasn't that I was wrong. I was doing a good job of running the company. It's just I didn't understand who I was dealing with.
You were playing a tuba in a rock band. It just kind of was...
Yeah.
Or vice versa or whatever, Your dad was the tuba and you're over there.
Yeah, I'm wanting to be a lead guitar player. I want me to be my bass player and he showed up with a tuba. And he would. And it'd be the ugliest tuba you ever saw in your life.
You gave him $1,000 to buy a tuba.
A nice tuba.
No, you found one on the side of the road that had been run over by a truck.
Yeah.
This'll work. I banged it back out a little bit.
Save a little money. Yeah. All you got to do is wash the mouthpiece.
All you got to do.
Get the fucking bird nest out of it.
Yeah, fire ants.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, there's a leftover loaf of bread in there. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
But, so that personality or the business test, it was designed to really, after you're done with it and you have it slammed in your face. And that's what she said. She said, you live in reality. You live in the real world. Your dad lives in a fantasy land. Okay. So hit your, but that's when we formed, the team got formed. That's what she said. She said, Mark, you're using him wrong. But here's the beauty of it is look at the positive out of this is that you just found out that your dad's not as stupid as you thought he was. You just got him doing the wrong thing. Now. And that's when me and him had the talk because it just It opens so much. If you're open-minded enough to let it come in, you know what I mean? You got to be willing to accept that somebody's going to.
Well, you had to be open-minded enough to pay for the stupid thing in the first place, you know?
Well, I was tired of banging my head against the wall.
Which makes you open-minded.
Yeah. But because really, honestly, I already and I always am open-minded. But the way that I talk or the way that I explain things, people are like, "God damn, it's your way or the highway." And it's like, no, it's not. You're allowed to have an opinion in this too, but you're not speaking up. Somebody's got to speak. You know, we all can't follow. Somebody's got to lead. You know, but that again, and I won't harp on that enough, I won't harp on it a bunch, but that was the beauty once we got the team built. That they really, and that's all they ever wanted was to have their voice heard. Just listen to what I've got to say. Even if we don't do it. I want a part too, because I'm the one that has to deal with the shit when it falls apart. It's boom. When this whole thing comes tumbling down, it's me fixing everything. So it affects my day or month or week or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, and then
out in the cold rain and all that. I mean, it ain't no fun.
Mm-mm.
It's not fun to fix stuff when it's easy to fix it. But when you're getting your butt whipped and it was preventable, that's what tortures me the most.
Yeah.
When mistakes are made that were preventable. Because when you're doing a job, you're going to have stuff out of your control that's going to whip your butt. You know, the building owner, homeowners, they're going to come up with some genius idea that you're like, oh, God, okay. But, yeah, we can handle that. We can dice that in the mix. And then you get the self-inflicted, hey, if we really hustle, we can get out of here by dark. And, well, I didn't bring the copper, you know. And there's no supply. I mean, you know, just good God, you know, the part where I asked if you had everything. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't know to just not have everything. You don't got something that's just really a showstopper, you know. It ain't like you can run to Home Depot and get, well, I guess you could get a roll of copper, but you pay 3 times more for it than you're supposed to.
Yeah. Will you turn that heater off?
Yeah. Freeze to death.
Oh, it was cold out there. There ain't no doubt about that, man. No doubt about that.
But yeah, the self-inflicted wounds are the hardest ones because, man, it's more when your team does it, especially when you asked everybody. Has everybody got their act together? You got what you're supposed to have? Is everybody under control? We all know what we're doing here. Yeah. Then it gets down to the next time. You got your tool bag? Do you got a Sawzall? You know, then it sounds like your mother henning the whole thing, you know? It's like, yeah, I mean, he's so critical. Well, because you know, you forgot the trailer the last time, you know? I mean, come on.
You know how we solved that in the chimney business? And it was because nobody wanted it from me. But I made a checklist of what was in everybody's, and there's a point that I want to make on this. That is the example of being a most man, of what he just said. Yeah. We're here for the paycheck. Right? Well, I'll get back to this because now it's on my mind. I want to say it before I forget it. Is if there's nothing wrong with being an employee but be the employee that always has it. That's how you move up the ladder.
Or the employee that makes you got 3 employees, be the employee that makes sure the other 2 don't shoot the boss's foot off.
That's how you become the manager. And I heard it on a oh God, who's the one that said this quote? It doesn't matter, but perfect example of exactly if you are an employee. Oh, it's off another YouTube channel that it's this family that they sail around, you know, they homeschool their kids and sail around. They're here from Fort Worth, or not Fort Worth, from Grapevine, where you're at. Yeah, but at any rate, he was in the oil business. But his advice he gave a little speech to him. If you want to live my lifestyle, what our family's doing, because if you watch their YouTube channel, it looks like they're living the coolest life ever, and they probably are. But living on a sailboat can't be fun all the time. I guarantee you that. But he's like, if you are wanting to work hard and retire and do something cool like this, he said, turn your boss. He's not your boss. He is your client. Okay? Treat your boss as your client. And you solve problems for your client. And you want it, because he was given the example of that he grew up poor, and so did his wife. And he ended up turning around and, rubbing 2 nickels into some money. And but he did it by busting his ass.
Yeah.
Started from the bottom in the oil field business. He said, but that's what I did. I treated all my bosses that I ever had, I treated them like they were my client.
Yeah, I never thought about that concept.
I'm a problem solver. I'm a problem solver, so I'm solving problems for my client. And he said, do you know how fast I went from making $15 an hour to $300,000 or $400,000 a year? And then started my own company. I've never thought about it like that, but when he said it, I was like, whoa. Yes, treat your job, because I think on another podcast I said something kind of to that effect, is even if you're not a business, because not everybody is cut out to be in business, and it's a hard fall if you don't make it. It's a hard fall. I mean, it'll affect everything. But if you're be that employee. Treat that 8 hours a day that you're there, or however long you're there. Do it, because I had employees that, and that was my point of when I sold the company. Is that after looking back on it all, I was like, you know what? Yeah, they bitched and moaned and they did a lot of stuff, but hell, man. I used to ask him to get up at 1 o'clock in the morning and come in at 2 and then work till noon and then come in at midnight and work till 8, then come in at, I mean, they were crazy hours. Crazy hours. And they were like robots, man. And they did it. They were there, but they needed the pay. But a lot of them really did care about their job. And what really hit me was that I thought they all hated me. Because I was so volume up to 20, right? Because it was us, it was a family business. And then the corporate world moves in, and they were like, because they gave me like 2 months to move out of my office. They're like, oh, God bless, man. We wish you were back. Now we know why you do things the way you do them. And we wish you were back. Because they don't give a damn what we think. We're just a battery and a number to them. You actually cared about us, and we didn't appreciate it. It was good to hear. Felt pretty good. But yeah, that was my. But women, man, you want to twist it. You want to twist it up a most man's rear end. My secretary at the chimney company, what you're talking about, it that constantly is all of our stuff we did always required it's same in your business. It will always require a 1/4-inch drill, a nut driver, 5/16 nut driver. They put them in their pocket and take them home and throw them in their coin jar and all that kind of stuff. And then you call them, well, I'm running late because I lost my nut driver. I'm like, so now I've got to lose money because you took my nut driver home and put it in your change jar. Now I've got to listen to you bitch about manually doing it with a manual screwdriver instead of a drill because you lost my nut driver or took it home. So I got my secretary to inventory their trucks every day before payday. They had a checklist of, and we bought 2 of everything. They had 2 of everything, so they didn't have an excuse to not. And do you know, every payday morning, everybody had a Home Depot sack, and they were restocking what they lost. Because we had everything that they needed. And if we had to restock the truck, and all of our shit was from Harbor Freight, we didn't buy the good stuff. It was 3 times what you paid for it at Harbor Freight is what we charged and took out of their paycheck.
No, you had to go get it.
You know? No, we had it in stock. We had it in the warehouse.
You knew what they were going to lose.
But lost the same shit. But she would. It was the, oh God, Lisa's doing inventory today, and she was a little redheaded, just tough woman, man. She was sweet as a button, but man, if she wanted to be a bitch, she could be a bitch. And she'd get out, and she took pride in it too, man. Inventory time, pull it all out. I mean, it was almost like a security guard. Let me look in the back of your trunk. You know what I mean? I'm in charge right now. Open your trunk. Not the police officer, the security guard.
Yep, you gotta stay on it, man. It's just relentless.
Yeah.
It's absolutely relentless.
But that's the most, man, and there's just be the take the bull by the horn, man, and show them that you got it. They'll pay you for it. There ain't a boss or a manager out there alive that is not going to pay you more if they see you putting in more. Would you agree or not?
Well, the way I always put it was,
people don't mind paying to get shit done.
Well, the way I always looked at it was, don't have my phone ring. If you keep my phone from ringing, but the problem is, and I guess this is what happened with Rich, like I was talking about earlier, was when the one thing landed on his desk, he was always getting hit from every angle, from everything all the time, constantly. So when something blew back from my point, then it was like, it's always landing on my desk. Well, it ain't always landing on your desk from my standpoint, you know. So yes, if you take care of your boss's problems, then one would think that would be worth a fortune or worth something. But if who you're taking care of the problem for doesn't know it or doesn't appreciate it, or well, that's the way it's supposed to be or whatever, well, you know, that's a different animal.
Well, then, you gotta,
like Rich always said, you can play with the devil as long as you know who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
I like that line.
Yeah. So, man, it's hard to, it's easy to talk about. There's so much out there, so many variables, but, most reasonable people they'll pay for shit to get done.
If they're on the ball and they're in touch with what's going on, and
the manager,
and if they see, if you didn't do that, what would happen? What would have happened if you didn't do that? And that's when the value gets appreciated. If every morning you show up to the shop and you put it out because it's on fire, the back of the shop's on fire, every day you show up, get the garden hose from the neighbors and put the fire out, but you never tell anybody. Nobody knows, nobody cares. You know, like, I should have got the Congressional Medal of Honor for putting the shop out. I did it 4 days this week, but nobody knows, nobody cares. They're like, well, the shop's not supposed to burn down, and it didn't burn down, so I guess everybody did their job.
Yeah, but I'm talking about just other people that don't think and are be prepared and plan ahead, right? And managers are pushed for that raise if you take those problems off to keep their phone from not ringing, or, you know what I mean, keep the complaints off their desk.
As long as they know, but see, you got to be careful that they just assumed there was no complaint, so you didn't do anything. See, that's the thing. They got to know you did something.
Well, that's where the company needs to come up with a reward.
Well, if you're too good, then nobody knows.
But it goes back to structure. I'm not saying that I had the perfect thing, but we did listen to our suggestion box. Like, we had a suggestion box, and one of our drivers that we thought was the dumbest, he's like, you've got 40 something trucks around here, all run off diesel, loader, this, that. He said, I sit in my truck sometimes and wonder, because sometimes a job could get pushed, it got pushed off 30 minutes or so. So they're all waiting around. But all they're doing is just sitting in their truck getting air conditioned for however long. He's like, why don't we, if we've sat for 10 minutes and we get on the radio and ask, are we sitting for another 30 or 45? Turn off our trucks. You know how much diesel that would save? Over time? And he wasn't, it was true. We saved $1,000 the first month we did it.
Yeah, but when it's 100 degrees out, I mean, your drivers are going to be like, oh, you got to get everybody to buy into that.
The break room. Go to the break room.
I thought you meant out on the job or something.
No, at our yard.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can police that. I thought you meant like out on a job waiting for a pour or something.
No, that's fine out there, but I'm saying at the yard. Sometimes something would happen on the job site, and
staging it.
We're staging it. We're ready to go, and they're just not ready yet. Sometimes they'd have to finish tying the rebar or whatever, and it's going to take another hour. They just needed another hour. Well, that's when they would go in and play cards or whatever in the break room, but the trucks would be running outside with nobody in them.
Well, that's pretty significant.
But it was just. But once we took note of that we actually allowed, and we did something off of somebody's input that normally never would have been listened to, it lifted everybody's spirits up. Now the suggestion box was full after that week, I can guarantee you that. But in our meetings, when we had our meetings, we would do it in front of everybody. That way, if it was a stupid idea, the guy would be like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. Held him accountable. And then the ones that were good got praised and they felt better. So it was kind of it, but big company, they don't care about all that. But it's just, it's a cruel world we live in. And it's not getting any nicer. It's getting worse with social media.
That's why I just downsized to me. Semi-retired. I'll work on what I want, when I want. I can get help from somebody if I need help from somebody. If I need too much help, I just won't even do the job. Well, but I'm to that point in my career and age that I've got that luxury. But yeah. I banged my head against the wall for so long that it's just, I'm just tired, I'm sick of saving the world from everybody, from themselves, You know how many years I'd go over somebody's house and I go, your air conditioning system's a piece of crap. Yeah, I just want to get one more year out of it. And then every year for 10 years, the 4th of July or something. Oh, it's broke. Can you come? I got a house full of people. No, I'm at the lake. Oh, well, man, you're my AC guy. You're my go-to guy. It's like I eventually had enough customers like that it's like, why the hell am I their AC guy?
That's a most customer. That's a most man.
There you go. And then I love it, especially when I'm sitting in my house and it's cold outside. And it's like, I ain't going anywhere. My heater's broke. Oh, the same one I've been telling you was a piece of crap. Well, can you just fix it this one more time? No, I'm not leaving my house. It's ice. It's cold. I wouldn't even fix my own heater. How about that? You know, I'll wait till it gets warm to fix my heater. I'm just going to sit here in front of my fireplace, you know. I'll hire somebody to fix my own before I go freeze my ass out. I'm going to work on my heat pump next to my house.
There's no shortage of those people out there.
But I tried for years and years and years. I was always the cheapest guy there was. You couldn't find a system cheaper than I could put it in because I had no overhead and all that. I tried to help everybody.
Well, no, it's
I gave everybody great advice. This is the perfect way of doing it. Well, I got a brother-in-law in Nebraska, and I told him what you said, and he said that's not right. And it's like, he's in Nebraska, we're in Texas, and we're talking about air conditioning. You know, are you serious that you're going to triangle me over some Nebraska AC guy?
But what made you great was the way that you handled everything. Is that because I'm telling that we need to explain how we met, or have we ever done that?
Yeah, I think we did.
But I think that's the one that didn't have any audio.
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah, but we'll get into that after a couple more. But I used to be in the insulation business, and that's how me and Tim met. Well, let's just tell it real quick.
Yeah,
it ain't going to take very long.
Go ahead.
I used to be in the insulation business, because chimneys were in the winter and blah, 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 so we had to have something to do in the summer. So Tim calls me one day, and
out of the blue, phone book, Mahoney, Irish. So I went with the Irishman because I'm half Irish.
Yeah, so he calls me and said, yeah, I've got this, I'm in the air conditioning business. I've got all these customers that, I'm putting together this program, to where we do the AC overhaul, the duct work, all of it, because, and we want to incorporate insulation to where I can get everything done all in one shot. And I have it all financed. And all I heard, that's because on my side, in the air conditioning side, there's not very many homeowners out there that can afford $4 or $5 grand just when they have to. So,
and this is probably close to 10 by the time the system, the ductwork, the insulation, all that.
Yeah, but they couldn't just foot the bill for that. So Tim, in his world, companies finance that work for the people. Well, the work that I did is if you didn't have a credit card or check, then we weren't doing it. And not without a deposit either. So all I heard was the word financing because I'd had so many customers because I just wasn't in that world. Our bills weren't that expensive. Ours were generally under $2 grand. Then that was a big one. But we could do 5 a day, So all I heard was the word financing, and I hung up the phone because I'd had so many customers over time go, well, do you offer a financing program? And I'm like, hell no, we don't offer a financing program. And as soon as a customer would mention that, I'd be like, see ya. If you got to finance this, then I don't need the job because I'm not going to get paid anyway, So he called me back. What were your exact words?
If you'd shut up long enough.
No, if you'd shut the fuck. He said, who do you think you said, who do you think you are? And I said,
Well, actually, you didn't just hang up the phone right away. We had a little bit back and forth in the finance, I don't do finance. Well, I'm not in finance. Every time I said the F word, he'd scream, I don't do financing. And then finally he hung up on me and I thought, I'm calling this knucklehead back. And I lit into him. If he just shut up long enough.
No, that's what you said. You said, if you would just shut the fuck up for 10 seconds and listen to what I'm saying,
I'm financing it to the customer. The customer, I get all my money in a chunk. You get your money in a chunk. You don't have to wait for your money. You get your money when the job's done. I get my money when the job's done. There's financing fees from the finance company that I'm paying as part of floating the job, but you got nothing to do with the financing. You're working for me. You're not working for the customer, and you're getting paid. And he's like, oh, okay.
Well, no, because as soon as you said if you would shut the fuck up long, and I thought, man, whoever, not that I'm some tough guy or anything like that, but back then, man, I didn't put up with any bullshit. And I was like, well, if anybody's got that kind of balls to talk to me like that, maybe I ought to listen.
And call me back to boot to do it.
Yeah, but here's what my point about all that was that all the customers that I would go for him, this is what makes him him. I don't care what and a lot of them didn't have to finance it that I went to.
No.
Yeah, all of them weren't financed. They were people that could write a check. But I'm not kidding. Every single customer that I went to, I'd never had one question me. I could have told them it was $10,000 when it should have been $1,500, and they were like, "Whoop! If Tim recommended you to come over here and Tim told you it needs to be done, what day can you do it?" They were the easiest lay down sales. I honestly, the only job that I didn't get was that dude that was in the jewelry business. Do you remember who I'm talking about? Did he sell diamonds or gold or
pearls?
Pearls, yeah.
Yeah, I still talk to him all the time.
Yeah, that was the only
job. Fact.
Well, I think it was because he was selling the house. He didn't want to. He was definitely not financing it, but that was the only one that I did not get. I remember this day.
I bought a Lincoln Aviator from him, and I still drive it. Well, I still own it. It's on my emergency backup vehicle. I bought that thing. It's got to be over 10 years ago I bought that. I love that thing.
Yeah, but no, I got so comfortable in thinking, all right, I got this job as soon as I walk in the door. I just need to tell them what the number is. And I took care of all of them. I didn't ever overcharge anybody. Here's an example of most man. Richard Meyer.
Yeah.
This guy, super wealthy guy, just had his whole house remodeled. Lives in is that house in University Park?
Yeah, it's kind of North Dallas. Yeah.
Yeah. Big expensive house. And we're doing the insulation and ventilation, all that. I told him, I said the bill is, to do all your shit, it's like $13,500 or $13,000. He said, make it 15 and do me a good job. Who does that? Huh?
Yeah.
Here's the quote.
Richard, that's who does that.
Yeah, make it 15, do me a good job. So I tell my dad, and the other guy that was doing the job, this is the most man of. So I tell him, I'm like, look, because this guy just got done doing hardwoods all throughout his house, and I told my dad, I said, I want tarps from the van to the attic. I don't want a footprint on this guy's hardwood floors. He's overpaying us to do the job. And all he wants us to do is take care of his house. He's even going out of town for us to do this job because he doesn't want to be around it. Doesn't want to be around us for 3 or 4 days, however long it takes to do the job. So getting up to the attic, we had to go through the maid's quarters. Okay, and we're talking a 14 by 14 room. It's just a little bitty room. And if you looked at the floor, you would think, well, this is just cheap Berber carpet from Home Depot. Okay? But you had to walk through there, probably a 5-foot section just to get through the hall, through that room, to the bathroom, entrance into the attic. Well, back then we did this thing called Radiant Barrier, and it's spray. Hit your camera. It's basically aluminum spray paint. It was all bullshit, but at any rate.
Well, there was real Radiant Barrier that almost kind of worked, and then there was the spray paint that didn't have a prayer working, and people would charge the same,
Well, no, the paint worked, but it worked too good. It would burn. Think about it, it's just like putting a mirror on the other side of your shingles. So it's like having a magnifying glass on your shingles. They can take a lot of heat, but they can't take that much heat all summer. It basically turned the shingles into like saltine crackers, just that.
Getting it from both sides.
Yeah. So, but anyhow, my dad spilt a little bitty, I'm talking a little bitty spot about that big, of radiant barrier on this carpet that was I said, tarp the entire house if we have to tarp the entire house. He gave us $2,000 extra dollars. What are tarps? $2. We've got plenty of them, so you should only have to buy 2 or 3 more just to make sure you have enough. And he went downstairs. Of course, he didn't tell me anything about this. Because if he would have told me, I could have showed him how to get that paint out of the carpet. I have a carpet cleaning. That was one of my first businesses with the chimney business. We did chimneys, carpets, air ducts, all that kind of tied in together. So I knew how to get shit out of carpet. Well, he went downstairs and got its white Berber carpet. What we thought was no, hold on, I haven't told him yet. Hold on.
All right.
Yeah. What we think is cheap Home Depot Berber carpet. Okay. He went downstairs and what's everybody think? Oh, Dawn. Let's put some Dawn on it and scrub it really hard. Dawn cleans the oil-filled ducks down in the Gulf of Mexico when they get oil all over them. Dawn. He gets red Dawn. Red. It was strawberry, grapefruit, some shit. But it was red. Red. We don't have enough red in here to show you how red it is, but it's red. Well, what does white and red make? Orange. Okay? And he squirted not just all it would have taken. Not even going to get it. He squirted.
More is better.
Yeah. And not as he's scrubbing in a circle. If I spread it out enough, it'll thin out. Not thinking, how am I getting all this fucking soap out of the Berber? Okay. So he finally, did he call me or come to the show? It doesn't matter. He's like, well, we got a little problem. I'm like, what's the problem? He said, I spilt some radiant barrier on the carpet. And don't worry, it's in the maid's quarters. It's only like a 14 by 14 room. And I was like, dude, did you have tarps from the van to the attic? Fuck no, man. We got work to do. I was going to shop back and clean it up on the last day. Get a Swiffer and Swiffer the. I was like, I said, okay, so here's the deal. Here's how I had to deal with my dad on that. It's like, okay, look, so this one's on you. It's not on me. The guy, I told you what I wanted done. We had a one-in-a-kind customer that it would have been every penny worth tarp buying to do him a good job. And
it turns out he could have went to Home Depot and bought strips of carpet and put it down, and it would have been cheaper than what winds up going on here.
Oh, yeah, so fast forward, okay? I was like, look, I'll go over there and try to get the stain out. And I walk up there, and the spot is this big, and it's orange. And I drag my carpet cleaning machine across it, and there is so much soap in this circle that it just it blows up like what your sink does when you put. There was that much soap in the carpet,
like putting the soap in the dishwasher. No, you can't do that.
Yeah. So I'm like, shit. How am I gonna? So I got an extractor and tried to extract it out and do all this. I got it to where if you weren't honest, and somebody said, we probably could have got by. If I'd have said, yeah, no, I don't see anything. But why am I going to lie to a guy that just handed me the keys to the kingdom? You don't find people like that. So I have to tell him. He gets back in town, and I'm like, look, we got a problem.
He was in Europe, by the way.
Yeah.
He was. He went to Europe and left Mark with his house.
And he didn't even know me. I don't think I even met him. No, I didn't. He just said, hey, man, yeah, if Tim told you to go over there, go over there. Just let me know what needs to be done. I called him. Boom. One phone call, $13,500. I'm standing in his backyard. I hadn't even wrote an estimate yet. Yeah, do it. 15, do me a good job. Going out of town. So you have the house to yourself. Keys in the, where? Or, I'll tell you where it's at. So I tell him what happened. And he's like, well, he said, you did say that you were going to tarp from the van to the attic. So you need to replace the carpet. And I said, no, we're replacing it. I said, I'm going to tell you something. It's my dad's replacing it. It's coming out of his part of this job. And get this. Do you know what the profit margin was on that job? If we're doing it for 13, I guarantee you our cost was only like 3. With labor. Insulation's cheap. Fucking cheap. It's just the roof that we had to get on to get all his vents in and all this shit.
Yeah, the radiant barrier, all that.
Oh, no, it was because we put it in attic fans and all sorts of stuff. And his roof was like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a 2-story house with an attic.
On an attic that was freaking way up there, 25 feet, 30 feet.
Oh, yeah, it was impressive.
Yeah, so he said, here's the, I said, where'd you get that carpet, Home Depot? Or he's like, oh, no. He said, no. He said, I don't buy my flooring at Home Depot. He said, there's only one place, and it's in Fort Worth, that you can get that carpet from. Here's their phone number. And I call them. And they're like, oh, yeah, we know Richard. Yeah, we just got done doing all his flooring and blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, there's one piece of carpet up in his maid's quarters. And he said, yes, we remember that. It comes straight from Italy. I was like, what? She said, oh, yeah, we have to order it special from Italy. And I was like, what?
You mean Italy, Texas, down 35?
Yeah, no.
There is an Italy.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I almost bought some land down there to put a concrete plant.
Yeah, that's funny, though. You mean that Italy? No.
No. So she's like, give me the measurements. We'll order it's the minimum. So my installers have ways to cut it and install it because it's a special Peruvian, horsehair from fucking Africa shit carpet. And I said, well, how much is a 20 piece? She said, I'll call you right back. Called him back. And I told my dad, I was like, dude, and that's what he said. He said, because he's thinking, what? 20 by 20 piece of carpet's $400 installed. He's like, hell yeah, I'll pay it. I'll man up and pay it. Fuck you. Always dropping the problems on, it was a mistake. It was an accident, I'll pay it. Fuck you. Hit your camera. So she calls me back, and it was like, it was something stupid like $3,800 or after shipping and all that was $4,200 installed, and we had to pay it. That's when he started listening.
You should have taken the old carpet and put it in your office, just to have Oh,
I should have.
You should have. You could have used that for years to come after that. You're wheeling and dealing with somebody. You think I got a $3,800. This carpet's $3,800. You ain't got to tell them the story how you got screwed into it.
Oh my God, that stuff happened with my dad all the time.
That was his charm.
Huh?
That was his charm. Right when you turn your back on him, he can come over the top with a holy crap story. I'm glad I didn't have to. See, I had the benefit of observing and getting the yucks out of it without the
pain in the ass.
Yeah, without the blood pressure and the drama and trauma.
Yeah, so that was I know this was the one on that had no audio that we told this story that's got to be told. The hospital up here that we did the hospital, the rehabilitation center behind it, the retirement center behind it.
Well, let me set this up first. So we were talking about how your employees can save you or kill you, and I laughed so hard during this story. So I'll be hearing this story for a second time here, and you folks get to hear it the first time. But we had a audio meltdown a couple weeks ago. So
and it was a software update, and it reset everything so that we didn't get it recorded, but we didn't get the audio. But anyway, God, it was a good one too.
This is.
But no, the whole podcast was good. It was, I guarantee you, it was it was better than
it was top 3.
Yeah. Well, we've only got 3.
That's my point.
Okay, so I'm in the concrete business. We're growing. We're on this rocket ship, and I'm trying to get into the next tier of the big leagues. That's when the material shortage happened. Business was getting tough. I had all these big commercial guys, the guys that you really want to get in with, because in the wintertime when shit slows down, those guys are the ones that feed you through the winter. They'll have a big commercial job that they want to do in the winter to keep the lights on, and then plus it's cooler weather. I mean, if you got a big commercial job, cold isn't going to hurt the concrete. It helps it. Heat's what does it wrong. So
you don't have to put ice in it and all that.
Yeah. So because on those jobs you have to have a certain temperature, or they'll kick your truck out. They'll reject it, and you just lost the money on that load. So this company calls me. Oh, Mark, hey man, welcome to the big leagues, man. You've been asking for my business, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, yeah, but I've kind of got all the work that I can handle right now. But in the back of my head, I'm like, well, you've been begging for this guy's business, and he's giving it to you. And this is a high profile job. If I do this job, it's going to show the industry that we can handle it. Because that was always our, yeah, but you hadn't done the big one yet. Well, this was the big one. So,
yeah, the hospital sits up right on I-20, and it's prominent. It's a big joint.
But it was big for this area. But I'm just saying, for us, it was big. It's what put us on the map of they're the real deal. They can handle it. So, and I got to get Jimmy in here somehow, because Jimmy.
What's back to the employee thing?
Yeah, Jimmy. Jimmy was one of the biggest, most men in that category, but this guy, he was the time clock cowboy, always washing his truck 20, 30, 45 minutes in the evening, but his truck was perfect. So we had the show truck in Vegas one year for Mac, and that truck had every single thing that you could put on a truck. I mean, it looked like a really decked out regular truck, but this was a concrete truck. Like, you see it drive down the road and you're like, good God. Every single thing on it was stainless steel, aluminum, everything on it just was like, oh, shiny. And so that Jimmy got that truck. Even though we used to go in there and clock him out because he'd be out there scrubbing that thing for hours.
So you gave him that truck because you knew he wouldn't abuse the truck?
He wouldn't abuse it, but here's the thing: that is, Jimmy always figured out how to. I'll take that last load. He was the highest paid driver at it, all of it. He was making management people money because he figured out a way to be that guy. And I used to not sign his check on purpose just to fuck with him, because me and him, we loved and hated each other. Okay, so, but this is a most man moment, in just stuff like this opens employers' eyes or managers' eyes or this, that, and the other. I hated this guy, hated him. Whenever I was having a bad day, because his check, everybody else would be making $700, $800, $900. He'd be making 13, 14. And he always was at the peak of 70 hours. And then he had 75 because he fucked off washing his truck. See what I'm saying? So he figured out a way to always...
He not only milked it, he abused the milk.
Yeah. Yeah. So but here's fast forward. I'm gonna get this one going. So he anytime I was having a bad day, or if he was having a bad day, I'd be walking out in the yard, going up to the batch house or wherever, just to talk to Dale, my manager, who he was the plant manager and all that, and he'd be up on the wash rack, to where he's up in the air and away, and he's like, and he would. This is the relationship we had. He said, "Fuck you." He said, "You're a fucking asshole." He said, "But you'll never fire me. I'm the best fucking driver you got. And you know it. So fuck you." And I'm like, when I was having a bad day, I'd walk out there and where's Jimmy? I'd walk up and say, "Man, you fucking motherfucker, get your fat ass off that, and I'll slap your ass." We would go. I tied a 90-pound amberjack carcass, a fish.
Yeah.
I tied a 90-pound because he was perfect about his truck, but he always threw his garbage in my dumpster from his house.
All right.
And I was like, I'm not.
Did he even have a house?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, just asking. Didn't know if he lived in a van down by the river.
We had an employee that lived in a van down there.
Okay. I was making sure it wasn't him.
Yeah, well, no, we had a company.
A different guy.
Oh,
all right,
good guy.
Never mind.
Yeah, don't get me sidetracked on that kid. He's
another story.
Yeah, so Jimmy, it's not like he just took a bag a day. It was like 5 to 8 bags of trash.
He's bringing his neighbor's trash.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude,
he's probably charging him. I'll get rid of that trash.
We would have to call in because the trash would be overflowing and we couldn't throw our trash away because Jimmy. So I was like, I'm going to show him what it's like to dump your shit in somebody else's property. So I took a 90-pound amberjack carcass. That is a fish that is this tall, tail to head. Okay. But I filleted it, kept it, brought it back, put it in the ice chest, iced it down, and I waited. And I went out there and wired that thing underneath his fucking muffler all the way to as far as it'd stretch out. I wired it, and I made sure the head was on the muffler to where it heated up. You know what I mean?
The fuck 'em and feed 'em fish heads kind of comes to mind here.
Yeah. So hit your camera so we don't lose this one. Okay. So it took about a day and a half, 2 days, to where all of a sudden he was like, he walked in the break room. Of course, always 15, 20 minutes early. Click, click. We'd tell him to be there at 5. He'd be there at 4:30. Click, click.
Go wash his truck some more.
He wouldn't even be washing his truck, but just I'm on time every time. You see, that's another thing that we fixed. But anyway, so he walked in the second day. Yeah, it was the second day. He goes, "Man," he goes, "I gotta go get my truck. I'm gonna have Britt look at my truck," and Britt's our head mechanic. He said, "I've got flies, those big flies, swarming around my truck every time I stop somewhere or start my truck." And he said, "Something's really starting to stink." He said, I don't know what's going on." And man, by that third day, it was, because this is in the summertime, dude. This isn't wintertime shit. This is in the summertime. It was so foul. And he crawled his ass underneath there, and he was like, "What the fuck is that?" Because it was dripping by then. You know what I mean?
Oh, my God. Yeah, this is like more than roadkill, I mean, like, how does roadkill wedge itself up? And I know maybe a skunk, but not a fish.
Yeah.
Nobody runs over a fish.
That comes from the Gulf of Mexico.
Not around here, anyway.
That comes from the Gulf of Mexico. 60 miles offshore. You can't catch them inshore. You got to go 60 miles to go get them. So, but anyway, so we're starting this commercial job. So that establishes Jimmy. We've already talked about my dad and how goofy he is. Okay, so service, right? So every time we needed an extra driver to either start or finish a job, my dad would jump in a truck and help out. Well, we're at the end of the job, okay? But in between there, we first start the job. It's Friday, 5 o'clock. Our drivers can only drive so many hours a week. So Jimmy, of course, was the only one left with hours, and they needed pier hole concrete. That's the holes that they drill, for stabilization. But they have to have those holes covered up so in case a kid falls in, right?
Yeah, that's the OSHA deal.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Some Jimmy or Susie can't walk by and fall in the holes. They have to be full. So Dale was like, look, you got one truck and one truck only. All my drivers are done. We're shutting the plant down. I've got one guy that can bring you one load of concrete out there, and that's it. So you're going to have to make it work or call somebody else. I'll do it, but don't expect to call and get more. So water and concrete, water decreases the strength in concrete. Well, and then time it's another thing. They don't allow concrete to be on a commercial job site for over 90 minutes because
it's probably like a graph.
It's the bell curve.
Yeah. At some point.
Yeah, without getting into the physics of it, it's just
at some point
it's too much.
You got to get this shit in the ground, and it's got to be how it's got to be because it's a spec job.
Right. Yeah. So, they kept him out there for 4 hours, which normally they only allow the concrete for an hour, 60 minutes. From the time it left the plant to the time it's there, an hour. They might give you 90 minutes if you're lucky. So, Jimmy, documents. You couldn't even read the ticket. There were so many signatures on it and water that they had put in. They kept him out there for 4 hours. Added over 350 to 375 gallons of water to the concrete, which just basically turned it into mush. Okay, so those pier holes were no good. But it was the engineer and the contractor doing all this.
You jumped on the first time you told the story. It was better in the fact that he wouldn't let them put the water in without signing the thing.
That's where I'm getting at.
Okay, you're getting there.
So every time that they added water or time, he was like, you're not getting anything until you sign for it. That you're asking for this, you're accepting it, it's good, blah, blah, blah. So he did. He had probably 15 signatures on this ticket. And our tickets are only like that big. They're small. And so I get there Monday, and Jimmy gets me in the parking lot, and he's like, I just want you to know, because Tuesday was payday, and he was like, I'm just letting you know that I wasn't fucking off on that job on Friday. They had me out there for 4 hours and added all sorts of water to my concrete, but I made them sign for every bit of it because I'm your best fucking driver, and you know it. You may not like my paycheck this week, but I saved your ass, and I'm letting you know it. And I was like, another fucking excuse, right?
Where's another fish? I need another fish for this guy.
Just another excuse.
I need to fish him up, settle him down.
So we're halfway into this job, and the engineers call me, and they're like, hey, we got a problem with these pier holes. The pier holes come up short, okay, like strength-wise. We're pouring the parking lot by now. Like those commercial jobs, they move. They don't waste time at all. They move. So we've got close to $1 million worth of concrete on the ground and hadn't even been paid yet, and we're already almost finishing the job. And we've got bad pier holes with a slab on top of it. The framers are already framing. Okay? So they're basically like, look, it's your concrete, your problem. We're going to have to core it, put new piers in, or we're ripping out the slab, and you're going to pay for it. And I'm like, whoa, hold up. Because I even tried to turn this job down. That was the whole thing. I was like, man, I got higher margin work over here that pay me. Okay, and it's not that they didn't pay me, but basically he told me, he said, look, you're going to eat your lunch on this job. Welcome to the big league, son. Bigger's not always better. Okay, so welcome to the big league, son. Now you're going to eat your lunch for the first time. And I'm like, hold on. And that thought running through my head of Jimmy, and he's like, I saved your ass. Went back to the shop, got the ticket, and I was like, thank God. So I took it back out there. And I was like, so you're telling me that you weren't out here when all this was happening? I'm talking about the engineer. He's like, no.
Yeah, why would he be on a Friday late? Whatever.
Bullshit. He's the one that signed for it.
No way.
Yes. Him and the other contractors. Yeah.
Oh, man.
He was like, they're pier holes. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We have to get these things full.
But then somebody came and
the fine would have been bigger on him if he didn't have it. He would have rather had bad concrete in there than have OSHA on his ass. Or the fine for leaving one of those holes open, because there's been times, it's not just in Texas, but back in the 80s, there was a lot of kids falling in holes. Like it was a big deal. You remember some of those
in wells and
kids falling in holes, if people leaving holes open. So he was like, fuck, and I was like, yeah.
Oh, that was back when they had all them ditches caving in, and then you had to start putting those the bracing in there with the
yeah. So having a hole open was worse than having bad concrete. So anyway, fast forward. Jimmy saves the day. Okay, and because they were telling me basically, I was like, well, we're not moving any further we're not pouring anymore until we get paid. If you're threatening me like this, like it's all my fault, then we're stopping now. And it would have been beneficial to them to kick me off the job and not pay me. That would have just made $1 million.
Well, you could have leaned
I'd have leaned it. No, we would have leaned it for sure. But their negotiation terms are all in their favor now, is what I'm saying. Because they were saying, okay, we owe you $1 million. If you'll just sign off on it, we'll pay you $700,000. I was like, no, I can't do that. You're taking not even all my profit, more.
More, yeah.
It's going to cost me, So, fast forward, we all figure out a plan. They ended up fixing their own problem because it was their problem. So we're pouring the last bit of the parking lot, and we're all sitting out there reminiscing, all eating breakfast tacos because we poured them in the middle of the night. And he was like, we're reminiscing, man, we've been through hell on this job. Thank God we're coming out of it with the green light. We're all going to be okay. We had some misfortunes and this, that, and the other. And all of a sudden, here comes my dad. Pulls in the job site. Boom! The drum on his truck, the barrel that spins around, okay? Well, that's the sound it makes when they're empty. He drove probably 25 miles, maybe even 30, the way he went. He spilt his whole load of concrete from the plant. Not from the plant. It didn't start spilling out until he got on 377. From 377 all the way to Aledo. And then like 300 or 400 yards in front of the entrance of the construction entrance, he finally ran out of concrete. It finally emptied. But he emptied the whole load from Benbrook to Aledo and had no clue.
Oh, like a 6-inch wide stripe?
Yeah, like 4 or 5. Yeah. Just barely, because the truck that he was in, it would just barely. It was his favorite truck. Nobody else could drive this truck. Nobody else would, because it had so many little things that could go wrong, and that was his favorite truck. He could drive.
It was quirky like him.
Yeah. He was I'll take that truck. I like that truck. It's a good truck. Good air conditioning. Nothing else worked, but so speed up. So the guy's like, man, whoa, you have some real, more Mark, these concrete truck drivers, man, not that all concrete truck drivers are stupid, but mixer drivers by and large, there's some goofballs in there. They do stupid shit. All they want to do is drive. But so he pulls in, the pump operator's backing him up, and he gives him the signal like, in his mirror because they don't want you getting out of the truck. They'll do everything for you because they don't want shit all over their pump. They have to clean their pump at the end of the day. And if they don't want some, 150 dumbass dudes, accidentally spilling shit everywhere because they have to clean that up. So that's why it's stay in your truck. I'll add the water. I'll tell you when to dump and when not to dump. So he's telling me, let me see it. So you just let a little bit drop out, and then he'll say, spin it back up, and I'm going to put 20. That was probably 30, but what I'm saying, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like
20.
working a crane. Everybody's got spool up, spool down, boom in, boom out. Yeah.
So
if you're in the business, you know what all this shit means. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, a couple of rocks fall out, and he's like, let me see it. And my dad cranks it up because he gives him the get it out. Let's get some. Let's go. We got we got 5 other people over here. We got to get going. Spins it up, a couple more rocks falls out, and he's like, what the hell? And of course, everybody else, the new style of hard hats, like that bonnet, you know what I'm talking about? It's not the old school hard hat. You know how the
Pittsburgh Steeler looking old.
Yeah, the old shit.
Yeah,
so,
I know the oldies for sure.
Okay, well, my dad was the only driver in our fleet that had that hard hat. And he jumps out of his truck, and that engineer goes, we've had really, he said, man, he's like, you got a lot of stupid drivers, but that one right there takes the fucking cake. And I was like, let me go talk to him. I had no clue he's my dad. He's like, man, you got a lot of dumbass drivers, but that one right there is the one. Look at that fucking hard hat he's got on. That shows. So I go down there and everything's Boom's fault again. And I'm like, hey, what's up? Yeah, fucking Boom. I said, well, where's your concrete?
Where's your concrete? That's not a good question.
It's 90,000 pounds. You can feel it. Going down the highway, you can feel that stuff back there. I mean, it's heavy.
Well, it's like pulling a trailer or not pulling a trailer. Your truck lets you know whether you're pulling a trailer or not. So if your load's empty,
and when it makes that sound, boom.
Yeah.
So
an empty beer can and a full beer can make different noises.
So he's like, let me get up there and look. And he looks in, looks down. And he goes, I don't have any.
Yeah, you can't bluff your way through this.
Yeah, no. So I was like, God almighty. And one of our spotters that, they stand out at the entrance to, this is where you turn, because they'll drive right past it if you don't have a spotter. He was like, called me, he said, Mark, there's concrete 400 yards up the road. He said he just got done spilling that right before, he said it's almost.
It's not even dry.
No, it's right up the road.
Like if it was gunpowder, you could light a fuse back to the plant and blow it up.
But that's what he said. He's fucking Boom. I've been telling him about this switch. I said, no, your switch is in the inside of the truck. You don't look. It's not this switch, dickhead. The one up front.
Oh, and he knows all about this truck, and he doesn't even know that?
Yeah. But he's trying to blame Boom for it. Trying to get out of it.
And what's this, like $1,200 worth of concrete?
Yeah. At least back then, probably $1,100. Plus fuel. Yeah, it's $1,200 of fuel.
Yeah.
And time. Time being paid, insurance.
And the customer waiting on, I mean, you'd have paid $2,000 and not have it happen.
Yeah. But no, that's what happened. It was, because it was funny because the Hispanic guy, or the pump guy, he's like, where is it? My dad's looking up, looking down, looking up, looking down. He's like, and my dad's like, I don't know. I don't know where it's at. I'm trying, but it's not in there.
I like that when you say he got out, like, I'll get to the bottom of this, and he gets back there and, and there's nothing. I mean, there's no way to like bluff your way through this or, minimize the no, this is a disaster. But yeah, like you said, how much more does the concrete weigh than the whole truck put together?
It's
twice, 3 times?
No, 10 times.
10 times the weight of the truck.
Probably, yeah. It's heavy.
I know. It's a rock. It's a wet rock.
Yeah.
So how do you not know if you drive a truck, hey, the braking's getting easier, maybe my brakes are getting better.
Your brakes don't work when you're loaded.
No, I know they don't.
You have to downshift.
It's like pushing a trailer. Like I said, pulling a trailer, it'll shove you right through an intersection if you're not geared up or, ready for that.
Yeah, you have to. Those back then, they didn't allow engine brakes in those trucks. I don't know why. But yeah, you had to
because they were loud. But you want to be.
They don't have to be loud. It's those fucking rednecks that put those big old pipes on. That's why they're loud. Yeah, but no, the regular, just a regular truck, you don't even hear it.
Really?
Yeah.
Then why the hell wouldn't you?
Well, you hear it. It's just not. It's not.
It's not abusive.
No, not like the.
That's just like
it's because there's no muffler. That's why it's like that. All of ours had mufflers, So yeah, it just, man, that guy. We finally got paid.
Pat Mahoney.
Oh, he was.
And Jimmy, what the hell? Jimmy.
Yeah. So So
was Jimmy working for you when you sold the place?
Oh yeah.
He's still.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't fire him.
No.
He'd tell you. Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you that.
How long did he wear you out about that after that, or did you tell him how big of a deal that was?
Not that, but he made sure that
he didn't rub it in too bad.
Oh no, I had to take my hat off to him, man. I can't remember what I bought him. I bought him something and gave it to him in the meeting.
Yeah, he deserved something.
God, what did I buy him? I think it was a Yeti cooler full of like barbecue, like briskets, because he was a barbecue guy. And I filled it full of groceries and tools and all that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Groceries and tools.
Oh, because this guy ate. Oh my God!
Never really heard that combo.
Well, no, listen. I'll tell you a Jimmy story, and then we'll get on to the other stuff. Is that I'm pulling in the plant. It's a Friday. I'm in town, and I'm going in to, to just collect my money and drink a beer with my dad and say see you Monday, And I look up on top of the hill and I'm like, what the fuck is Jimmy doing up there? And of course, it's Friday. If they're toying around with his truck. But I see these two little heads bobbing in his truck. Got people in his truck. Okay, well, OSHA, the DOT, the you name it. We're not allowed to have. We all had to wear steel toe boots. I mean, like we had a dress code that hard hats, safety vests, blah blah blah. Or our insurance was no good. If you didn't have your safety vest, or if you chopped your toes off and you didn't have hard toe boots on, we're not paying the claim. It's just the way it is. So I look up there and I'm like, what the hell's going on up there? And I walk up and he said, "Hey, Mark, how you doing? It's Friday." He said, "I know, I'll hurry up and get out of here." He said, "They want to get out of here too." He said, "Hell, grandkids wanted to come to work with granddad today." And I was like, what? I open up the fucking, and these kids are like, they're 5 and 7. They're little. Wow. They don't have any shoes on. They're like, and they're just like, "Hey." And I'm like, "Get out of that truck." He's like, "Yeah, but they ain't got no shoes. Let me get over there to the parking lot and I'll carry them."
Put some duct tape on their feet or something.
I was like, good God, man. Oh, I cussed him Monday. He said, "Yeah." It was always the same. He's like, you can yell at me all you want. He said, the grandkid. He said, take it. I know you're going to take something out of my check. Just take it out of my check. I'll get you next week.
Say, look, man, I got the big old list over here. Should I take shit out of checks for him? Grandkids ain't out here. I don't even know what to do about this.
Well, that's the thing about those. It wasn't just my dad. It was all those drivers. They were all capable of those moments of just, what are you thinking?
And why?
Yeah.
Why were you thinking this was a good idea? Hell, Rich had a guy working for him that brought his big old German Shepherd to work one day just because he thought it was a good idea, running service calls. German Shepherd in his service van, going to people's houses. We were mortified, and he got pissed that Rich got pissed. And I mean, AC people get bit by dogs more than mailmen. I guarantee you, because a mailman goes to the mailbox, and AC guys got to go in the backyard. Well, you go in the backyard of somebody, their house where they got a dog, that's their domain.
Yeah.
I mean, so I've been bit by more dogs than I'd care to ever recount.
Yeah, I had a job. This was back when I was doing chimneys. It was a German Shepherd. Same thing. I was walking up to the house. I was
very territorial.
Yeah, I was walking up to the door, and they had the door open, but the glass door was, the glass front door. That dog, I was about to knock on the door, and I saw that thing take a beeline towards me, barking, and I was like, "Oh my God,
this thing's serious." Man.
He is serious." So I took off running. And I knew that I just had that feeling that this thing's coming through this door to get me. And it did. It jumped. And I heard him. Whoa! Boom. Door comes flying open. I crawl up on top of my truck. And I'm trying to crawl up on my ladder rack. And the homeowner comes out and he goes, "Yeah. Good job, Sally," or whatever the dog's. He's like, "Yeah, she takes care of business around here." And I'm like, "Well,
yeah, I love it. I got one for you. It's most homeowner here. Same deal. The homeowner said, "Well, just let him smell you." Well, well, just let him sniff you. Like hell, no. Hey. I'll leave you with this one. I got to hit the can. I had a homeowner, was late, and it was like the last call of the day. I didn't want to be there. It's late. Yeah, I'll be home at 5 o'clock. It's like 5:30, 5:45. But in the meantime, he had this dog. Because I rang the doorbell and nothing. Well, his dog was, yeah. So then I went back and rang the doorbell. Well, this dog got more perturbed about me being on the porch, and it started going more nuts and more nuts. And it started just tearing the blinds down, knocked the lamp off. I'm looking through the window. This is all going on in the house. Knocked the lamp off of the table and just started shredding the blinds. I hate to admit this, but I did it. So I slowly walked around to the other window and just let him shred them frickin' blinds too, just because... Don't be 45 minutes late. That's the point. All right, restroom.
Yeah, well, and what's crazy is those homeowners, they're like, "Oh,
he does that.
He does that, and it's okay."
It's okay
you.
for
Yeah. So, leave a message down in the comments about our last, or the idea about building the men's club. That's not just one area of that's just kind of an overall thought process on how we're going to set it up. We're going to do all sorts of other lives, meetups, greets, Zooms, we'll have all sorts of activities that we're going to start planning, that if you want to be a part of them, or, as we grow, people are going to want to be a part of them. But if you like that concept of, or if you understood the concept, and do I need to explain it better? But yeah, it's all meant to be fun, all meant to be, beneficial to everybody. And that way, I'm just kind of reiterating that whole join the men's club. Did I explain it well enough? Thoughts, comments, ideas, likes, no likes.
There's way worse clubs to join than the men's club.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're welcomed here, because we're all, and women can join the men's club.
Yeah. Do you know where I got that from? Was from my banker. That's when I was getting in the concrete business. When I was getting that loan, when I was talking about getting that loan, he said, man, I said, yes, this is my big career move. He said, yeah. He said, you're getting in the men's club now. And as soon as he said that, I was like, I went and got it that day. It hit like a ton of bricks because I'd already had the idea before. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what he said. He said, yeah, you're getting in the men's club now.
Well, not everybody's probably heard the why you started the men's club with or the Most Man.
Yeah. Okay. So why I started it was, I was married. I've got 3 kids, but I was married probably, I was 27, 28, somewhere in that time frame, 29. Because I was in the concrete business by the time I was 30. So it was in that time frame. But I'm married with 2 daughters. You know, I'm outnumbered. You know, women versus men. I'm outnumbered, and it wasn't. I wasn't in a bad marriage. It wasn't bad.
Well, I didn't say tell the whole damn story.
No. I am. Yeah, no.
Get to the meat.
Yeah, no. But I'm just saying it wasn't bad. It was just when you get settled into marriage with kids. I mean, the first it's great. You know, but then after you we lived together before we got, but pretty much everybody does, so you know kind of what they're like. But when you get married, that's when they can pull off the mask and, well, I'm your wife. Well, the rule wasn't that when we were dating. Well, we're married now, right?
I bit my tongue.
Yeah.
Till now.
Yeah, we weren't married then. Now we're married.
Here's how it's going to be.
Yeah, so most men would want to do this for their wife. Most men would want to do this, and most men, I know that Sunday's your only day off, but let's go to the museum, or what you said, let's go antiquing. Let's go do something that you don't want no fucking part of on your day off. I've been stuck here with the kids all week. I'm a stay-at-home mom.
I had to watch Barney and SpongeBob with them.
Yeah. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I need some fresh air. Well, God bless. Go get you some. Most men would want it. I said, hang on a second. And it took me a little while to look back and go, what the fuck is all that about? You know? And then I get the barrage, and she didn't bitch at me, but it just kept hearing this, most man. And I finally had enough one day, and I turned around, because, again, back then, I was very successful. I started my charter service. I had a house at the coast. I was an offshore fishing guide. You know, like I had my routine, and I was getting in the concrete. Like everything was great. You know what I mean? Like life was good. And I'm getting this most man shit, you know? And I finally turned around one day and I said, you know what? I'm a businessman. I'm number one, I'm a man. You need to, the first thing I said to her was, look, if you're looking for a most man, you need to go find you a most man, because I'm not a most man. I am a man. I'm a businessman. I'm a fisherman. I'm a man that pays all the bills around here, man, so you can be the stay-at-home mom, okay? Like, but here's the thing. I'm not an asshole for a husband either. I take care of all my stuff. You know, there's no reason that I should be getting bitched at. You know, I take care of my part. You know, and the whole thing. Well, my generation, well, it's 50-50. Once you get married, it's 50-50. I was like, well, okay. Yeah, okay. You got your part. I got my part. You do your part. You're the mom. I'm the dad. So me and my cousin go to the coast one weekend just to drink beer and relax and do all this fun stuff that we do. So I was like, hey, man, you getting this most man shit at home? And you're like, yeah, kind of, what do you mean? I'm like, most man, yeah, the drill. Happy wife, happy life. You got to kind of give up your man card, give up your nuts, and, turn it all in. That's the way it is. Happy wife, happy life. And I was like, I don't think so. Maybe you, because he is a most man. But at any rate, so we're drinking beer, and I was like, because I'm a serial entrepreneur. You'll figure this out over time. Anything that can be a good idea that can be turned into a business, my mind just starts. And all of a sudden, I was like, man, dude, the funny part, get your man card back, get your balls back. I said, we need to start a company for $69.95. You get it all back. You get your man card, you get your balls back, you get your 12-step recovery program on how to maintain, retain. You get your T-shirt, your tumbler, whatever the swag was back then. They got a lot cooler shit now that we're going to be putting together in these man kits. Okay. So we need to, for $69.95, you get it all back.
Start fresh.
Yeah. Yeah. Got your man card now.
Yeah. Hey, you don't even have to tell your wife you got your man card. If you're that kind of most man that, well, she'll get mad if she knows. Well, then don't tell her. Men do shit that they don't tell their wife shit about all the time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But no, when they start.
You can be a closet most man. We'll take you in. Because because you can work up from there, You can work your way out of the garage, back into the house.
Every time they start on you, say, hold up. Hold up. There it is. Rule number 1 of when you join the men's club is when you put your foot down, you make sure it hits the ground. But that means that you stand for something. You got to act like a man if you want to be treated like a man, you got to act like a man. So it's all meant to be fun. And just to,
but there's a serious threat in it. There really is.
There's it is, because it's the women, even the women buy into it, because if their husband's a slug, they're like, man, I've been wanting him to get his.
Now, maybe some women, some women, they might not like it because they're used to running the show. But that's the kind of, if you got a woman that gets mad because you joined the man club, it means they got something to lose. Their control, they're running the show, and they want to keep running the show.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing.
Unless you're happy with them running the show, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And the thing is that.
But you got to be happy about what you decided, what you're putting up with, what you're not putting up with. You've been biting your tongue because, I don't know, and, just do a reset, recheck, and just
join the men's club.
Join the men's club.
Yeah, no, it's all meant to be fun. I mean, there's no, I don't want to be harping on women or anything like that, but we did a pilot program to make sure that, because if we go out there and just start pissing a bunch of women off, then this thing isn't going to work. We don't want to piss the women off, and
we don't want to piss anybody off.
No, but here's the thing: when I did the pilot program, I'm telling you, the women jumped all over it. Because it's not the whole misogynistic asshole trying to be an asshole to women saying, y'all are whatever you want to call them that they don't like being called. But no, I am pro woman in every company that I've built and ran. I told the story on the first podcast or the second one. I can't remember which one it was. I'll work with a woman any day of the week. Guarantee you. I will.
That was the second one, but
Yeah, but what I'm saying
that got lost that we don't.
No. It's on there. I've watched it. It's either the first or second one. I can't remember just right now. But I'm just saying, women loved the concept because it's not meant to be a. Hey,
it's not us or them.
Yeah, I got my man card now. See, look here, bitch. You got to listen to what I got to say. I put my foot down.
She throws her woman card down, and it's thicker and made out of gold. You know, it's like no.
Yeah, and she's got a pair of fucking hedge trimmers going. I got my woman card too. Bend over, boy, and say goodbye.
No,
you got your balls back. Well, here. I got the hedge trimmers.
Peace and harmony, man.
Yeah.
In the family. There's nothing better than peace and harmony in the family.
And as old Jomo said, everybody just wants to be a part of something. It's meant to be fun. Let's have some fun. I mean, and if we're gonna make money on it, but here's it's not meant to be this money grab on people.
Got to cover expenses.
Yeah, it's the stick. It's the stick. No, I got to make a living somehow. I mean, can't donate my time.
Well, there's always Social Security for me.
Well,
as long as you young kids keep a job and pay your taxes, I'll get some income.
Yeah, well,
beer's cheap.
Yeah, well, hit your camera. So,
I hit that camera every like 4 minutes, and it goes 30. I'm calling you out. Well, I ain't hitting that camera no more.
Well, we let it go black in the first one.
Yeah, because we waited 35 minutes.
I know.
I'm getting
carpal tunnel.
Anyway, tell them how to find us and all that. Let's wind it down on that.
Well, I'm not ready to wind down yet.
Well, start another one then, damn it.
No.
All right.
Keep
it rolling.
Yeah.
I'm not hitting my camera. We're going to see how long this goes. We're going to go until the camera goes, just for the hell of it, because we're here to have fun.
So, but yeah, it's all meant to be fun, but in the process, it's not just because of the times that we're in. It's that really there's a lot of guys out there that. And it's sad. It's sad because you can tell when men are broken. You know what I mean? You can see it. They've just fucking given up. That's a most man. But they don't have any options. I mean, their options are so far worse. But
yeah, give me the dance floor. I got a thought here for you.
Well, I was about to do exactly what you're doing, but because I was about to say, give your and your wife's.
No. It's totally different.
After this, go ahead. But after this, I've got a thought.
All right, when I was a kid, so my parents were born in 26 and 29. My dad fought in World War II. I was born in 62, so I was kind of. They were old when I was born, not old, like pushing 40 or something, mid-30s. Anyway, so I grew up in that Depression era type people, man. I grew up and we grew up in the Catholic Church, you dated, and then, there were chaperones on dates and this, and, everything was very, very, very conservative. I went to Catholic grade school, and you did things a certain way. The community, even though I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, it was big, but the community was small. Everybody knew everybody. You went to church. Everybody, like people talk about, in a small town, everybody knows everybody. Well, in the Catholic Church or your community in those big cities, everybody ran together.
Yeah, I'm Catholic.
Yeah, so you're a Mahoney, huh? Yeah. Irish people.
Yeah.
Well, I found you in the phone book. So, like I got two sons, and my son's been living with my oldest son there, he's been living with his girlfriend for 5 years or whatever. And my younger son, he dates girls galore. And so, I mean, it is just an absolute change from, like what I perceive as a most man to maybe what they would perceive as a most man, because I lived with my wife before we got married.
So did I.
And, you know,
I think most people do.
Yeah, but I'm saying the older you are, the less accepted it was. But the more you just said to hell with it, because I'm going to do what I'm going to do because I'm an American, I'm a man, I'm a taxpayer, I'm a whatever the hell I want to be. And you get to go mind your own frickin' business, right? I mean, it's between me and God, or me and my parents, or me and my family. And, you can always tell them to go eat fucking worms if you want to.
Yeah. So that's actually a note that I came up with yesterday is.
But my final thought on the thing is I've evolved over time. And I mean, rock and roll was unacceptable at one point in time, and hell, that's all we listen to now. Rap was like, no way. And that's what kids listen to now. I mean, it's when you're changing something from the status quo to the new deal, the old people don't like it. The new, it transitions, and it, some of it's for the better, some of it's for not. I don't listen to any rap music, but I listen to a whole lot of rock and roll. Actually, I listen to a whole lot more blues than I listen to anything, but I listen to the blues because I used to listen to rock and roll, and then it not dawned on me, but I figured out that it was all based on old blues, and that's the shit I loved anyway.
Yeah.
So what goes around comes around, but I'm not going to pass judgment on anybody. I hate rap music, but you got a God-given right. Go, you tear it, turn it up in your car and let it rip. Whatever makes you happy.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the notes that I had. That's a perfect segue to what is that kids like, especially my kids. Okay. So my kids are living in the moment, and I'm close with them, so what the social fabric was in your generation, what the social fabric was in my generation. Okay, yours is totally different than mine. Well, it was transitioning it into mine because
everyone has a taste of the one before, but it changes, and eventually it changes a lot.
Right, but my point is that these kids today, they don't date like how you dated or I dated. We used to go to the bar to go look for girls. They go to Instagram, or you see what I'm saying? That's they don't.
They cut the bullshit out and get right to it.
Yeah, it's not. They don't. And it's not that it's wrong for them, but it's hard for us to understand. But exactly what you just said is that I have learned that I can't pass judgment on that. Oh, these kids are so weak today. No, there's killers in every generation. Or not killers, but savages. There's savages in every generation. But their savagery today is not going to be what it was in your generation or what it was in my generation. It was cool. It was kind of cool to be a big construction guy in my generation. You know what I mean? Like if you were a big badass contractor or at a big construction, it was manly. It was, you know what I mean? It wasn't not that it was frowned. It's not that it's frowned upon today.
Oh, it's in some people it is. You pour concrete, you're evil. They got cement plants. It's putting out, No, you're screwed up the environment.
No, not that. It's that.
Well, there is that.
Well, there is that, and trust me, I went through all that.
I'm sure you did.
It's that these kids today have got a totally different landscape in front of them that you'll never understand, and I'm never going to understand. But I've dove deep enough into this. That's why I'm doing this, because this is the new wave of how things are going. And I would have never thought. Now, I wanted to have a podcast before. I just couldn't figure out a way to monetize it. That's why I went to Podfest. But the internet has changed so much, and social media has changed our whole way of life. And You're either doing it or the older generation, they do it to send pictures of family and this, that, and the other. But no, that's how these kids are. These kids,
but the older generation that never had it, they don't know. They're not missing nothing because they never had it.
Right, but these kids today.
But Grandma, you could listen to Lawrence Welk on.
Right.
You could pull up Lawrence Welk on YouTube.
Hold on. What I'm getting at is these kids are going to make their money in technology. That's the new thing for them. I mean, there's going to be engineers and doctors and all this, that, and the other. There's going to be that. School's meant for something, but like I'm telling you, my son at his age and what he can do just because of YouTube is phenomenal. It's insane that I've seen him rip apart a motor and put it back together, and it's running better than it was before. And he just turned 13 because of YouTube. We didn't have that when we were
Chilton manuals. Remember the Chilton manuals?
No.
Yeah, it was that. Oh, look at there. I got you on an age one there. If you bought a used car, you went and bought it was like $19.99 for a Chilton manual, and it was everything about that stupid car. Where the fuses were.
I just don't know. I know what you're talking about. I just don't know that.
It was the best money you could spend.
Well, but
it was like YouTube about that vehicle, but it was a book. It kind of went the way of Maps goes, and
but I'm just saying that they're just because, and we've said it before, and I've said it, is they don't have the opportunity that we have. No, they have more opportunity than what we ever had. Now, it's just in a different way. It's in technology. We didn't have technology on our side. Well, no. Well, when I was a kid, that's when the Commodore 64 was, the computer at IBM. My stepbrother, I remember having the dial-up modem to where you get the ears and you stuff them in the modem. Do you ever remember those? It's you're using your telephone handle, and a modem back then was all it was it had two foam pieces that you stuffed your phone into to where it could hear the all that
the
fuzz,
fax machine,
the fuzz noise and all that stuff.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So, but their information bandwidth is so much larger than ours. That's what I'm saying. They're not stupid. They're actually probably 10 times smarter than we are because they gain information 10 times faster. That's why all that's on YouTube and Facebook, and you don't do all that stuff, so you might not know what I'm talking about, but that's why these short little reels, they only might be 2 or 3 minutes long, but you're getting a power punch of exactly what you want to know. And then you can go look at their long form stuff. But it's so much, and when I broke my foot and had surgery, and I'm telling you, it's in your brain, like when you exercise or when you do things that release, the dopamine and the endorphins and all that. That's what they're getting. That's I literally got addicted to YouTube when I broke my foot. I was like, this is why kids are doing this. Because it's so much. And you get so much so fast, and it's just like, and at the end of the day, if you've done it all day, your brain is tired, like how we used to get tired from mental stress. And you know what I mean? After you had a really long day and your brain is just like, that's what online stuff does. And it's so addicting. It is so addicting. Because it's information overload and you can get it so fast. And that's why you get all the old people going, I don't know why they're on their phones all the time. I don't know why all they do is sit on their phone. I know why they are now. I'm addicted to it. I have to like get out of bed in the morning. When I had my broken foot, I couldn't get out of bed. I was like, this is why kids never leave their room.
Well, check this out. When I specifically remember, this was probably in about 1980, 85-ish, 84, 85. A good buddy of mine that I haven't seen in 35 years. No, I ain't touching it.
Yeah.
No. I'm just showing you.
I don't want it to go black.
I mean, I'll be on it. Boom. You just watch. I know what I'm doing.
But I don't want it to go black. That's the point.
All right. So anyway, I get this call from this buddy of mine. He goes, man, I'm having wife troubles, man. And he lived in McKinney. I was living in Plano when I met the dude. But anyway, I was living in Dallas. So he goes, man, I'm going to Alabama. I'm going to go see my cousin, man. I can't hang with my wife anymore. She's making me crazy. You want to come? And this was like on a Thursday. So I call in sick to work on a Friday. I was working at the hospital over there. And actually, I didn't call in that night. I said, yeah, I'll go. I put my clothes, I put some shorts, underwear, socks, whatever the hell, some shirts in a brown, like Safeway bag. Because this is before a plastic bag, every day all came out with the plastic bags. No, you used to get the big old brown grocery sacks. That was my suitcase. And I had an answering machine, which was always hilarious because if I disappeared for the weekend, you come back and on Monday it'd be, hey, man, we're partying Friday night, or hey, come on over to my house Saturday. I mean, shit, you didn't know that the party happened until the Monday when you got back.
Yeah.
But anyway, I went to Eufaula, Alabama with this guy to go see his cousin with my clothes in my bag. I mean, nobody knew where the hell I was at. If I got murdered in Alabama or disappeared or we both drowned in a lake because we just got too drunk or high and fell in the water, nobody in the history of man would know because nobody knew I even went. I mean, what am I doing in frickin' Alabama at the drop of a hat? No. They can't track my phone. It was so liberating to just go, and nobody can find me if they had to. Leave it on the answer machine, So that's what these kids today give up. I mean, they're giving up their freedom of absolute freedom. They will never know what absolute freedom is because even if you shut your phone off, when you get back, you're going to be admonished by your friends or your family or whatever. You didn't call me back. Well, I was busy. Well, you weren't busy 2 hours or 4 hours or 6 hours or 8 hours or 12 hours after you shut your phone off. You could have turned it on and called me. Even when you got your phone shut off, you're thinking, I wonder what's going on. I mean, I'm wondering. No. In the old days, there was no wondering about nothing.
I agree. Listen to this. I know that you may not know about. Are you familiar with this? Well, you don't have an iPhone, but are you familiar with this? Track 360.
No. Parents.
My ex-wife. I don't do it to my son. And I don't do it to my daughter, but she does. She's done it to all. And hell, my daughter, my oldest daughter, she's still doing it to. There you go. She can track them. It's called Track 3 or iPhone 360 or something like that. She can track everywhere. It's just like a GPS. Okay, their phone, wherever they go, it shows where they're at, how fast they're going. What time it's the most violating. If I was a kid, I would be pissed.
That's what the Chinese government do to every last one of them over there.
Yeah, but she I remember when we still were here, she used to call. I would be like, what are you doing calling? She's like, you need to tell him to slow down. He's doing 89 miles an hour. And You see what I'm saying? They have no privacy. Zero. Just like that's exactly what you're saying. I didn't have all that. I mean, my mom was just like, look, just call me and let me know where you are. Yeah, it's the weekend. I know you're going to go do something. Just call me and let me know you're okay. That's all I'm asking. You know, I know I'm not going to stop you. But me and my son have our conversations in the our nightly conversations.
Not touching it.
I'm like, you know, when's your mom going to come pick you up? He picks up his phone and he's like, well, she's just left Taco Casa or something. You know what I mean? It's just like,
I mean, if this is military shit and everybody's trying to kill everybody, yeah, you know, we're against that. Then it's probably good. But when you're just trying to relax and live your life, man, you just don't need this. Man,
but we're not going backwards though. That's the problem.
Oh, it's never going to change.
No, it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
It's you talking about the Chinese TikTok, that TikTok app. Do you know what TikTok is?
Yeah.
That app is designed for the Chinese to monitor. They monitor us on our phone. Like if you have a TikTok app, they can listen even though my phone is off. And even if you turn your phone off, I'm talking all the way off, that tracking still works. It doesn't matter. Your phone, that phone, you can turn it all the way off. You can pull the battery out. I think you can pull the battery out, and it'll still. They have the capability to listen to everything that you're saying.
Oh, fuck you.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, like, so there's another example of this guy that this is a most man incident. That like those Alexas that you can put in your house. Alexa, turn on this. Alexa, turn on that.
Yeah.
Well, I think the woman started the fight, and it's all recorded on Alexa because they called 911 on Alexa. Alexa, call 911. Right.
Without them saying to call 911?
No,
Alexa figured out they're fighting and it called
No.
911?
The wife said it or he said it.
Oh, call 911.
Alexa, call 911. It called 911.
Okay.
So it recorded their whole fight.
Okay, sure. Well, 911 records.
No. That. I mean, why wouldn't they?
Are you talking Alexa recorded
Alexa
it and the 911?
Alexa records it too.
Both, too.
Yes.
Okay.
But this is fine that 911 records it. That's fine.
Oh, yeah. I knew
but
that.
Alexa is just a product that you buy, but it's got the capability of recording everything that you do in your house.
Yeah, you could tell.
No, I don't either. But I'm just saying, if you just said to your wife, "Hey, fuck you," Alexa could go, "That's not nice." But it's recording it. Somewhere that data is being stored.
See, my buddy Dak has always told his wife, I've known these people for 40-some years. He always said, if I killed you when I wanted to, I'd be getting out about now. That is his go-to saying for 40 years, you know. That's what he tells his wife. If that thing heard that one time,
he'd be in jail.
He'd have fucking SWAT team coming to his house.
Yes.
But that's his go-to line to his wife. If I'd have killed you when I wanted to, I'd have been getting out about now. Which is a funny line, actually.
Yeah, but I love the fact that technology is doing what it's doing. I'm not an anti-technology guy, but I do not like what you say.
There's no limits
of what you're giving up.
Yeah, there's no limits to
because I know what it's like. I know what it's like. What you're talking about, to be truly free and to be independent and just.
I caught the end of that as an adult, and it was, and then when technology started trickling in. I'll tell you some of the first technology I had that was unbelievably cool was when I was working at the hospital. We got pagers, but you could only put 4 numbers in it because every extension in the hospital was a 4-number extension. And being I was in the engineering department, we were part of the fire, you know, if the fire alarm went off and boom, 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 you know. So you could call the phone. You'd have to dial the 7-number. You didn't have an area code back then either.
Yep.
So you dialed the 7 numbers, and then you could put in 4 numbers, and it would show up on this pager. So me and all my buddies, we had all these codes. 8 means we're going to lunch. 8, you know. 4 4 meant call me, 2 4s meant really call me, and 3 4s meant call me right now. And
yeah, we did 911 on our pagers. I had pagers.
This might have been before 911. I mean, this is when pagers first started. These things were like $1,200 a piece, and they were huge. I mean, they were as big as this beer can. They were big and tall.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah, and so hell, we'd be at a bar, and here's the thing: if you called your buddy, like, "Hey man, I'm down here," just I'll just make this up. The Rolling Stones just walked into the fucking the bar here, and on Greenville Avenue in Dallas. Nobody knows they're here, but so you had to, if you called your buddy and you wanted him to call the payphone, you had to call him twice because you had to put the 7 numbers in, but you could only put 4 in the pager. So you had to put the first 3 numbers and then the second 4 numbers, but you had to call him back. So it cost you 50 cents to call your buddy to give him that phone number. So something was going on worth of shit for you to do that. Because you wouldn't spend 50 cents and wait by a stupid, for your buddy to call you. But we felt like we were beating the system because it was so cool to have that ability, and nobody else had that ability.
Yeah, no, we grew up with pagers. We had
but I'm saying this is before anybody had pagers because nobody was going to spend $1,200 a pop for them things.
Hell no.
But that was probably it was the late 80s. Oh, I think our boss at the time had one of those brick phones. No. Yeah, he had the brick phone before that because we anyway, long story short with that, but it was like $3 a minute or some stupid fucking number.
Yeah, no, my buddy's dad, Don Baumgartner, Futon Don. I
got a futon in my game room that Rich slept on it the other night. He crashed at my house because he was doing some work out in my neck of the woods, and he goes, "Man, I don't want to go all the way back to Granbury. Yeah, crash at my house." And he slept on my futon Don.
Yeah, no, I remember Jake in high school. That was Don let him use his mobile phone, and it was one you carried in the bag. It was a big ass.
Yeah, they called it the brick. It was a nickname.
Yeah, but he was the only one that had one. It was funny, but no, man, it's that's what I was saying about that documentary that I watched about the space shuttle. Is like just how far things have come since the 80s. I mean, it's everything's, and it's always going to go back and do whatever it's going to do. But I mean, it sucks getting old. But it's just funny. It's funny to see how. Well, it's not funny, but I'm just saying and to me, it's just interesting how far technology has actually came in that short period of time. I mean, there's been a lot. I remember when the internet just started. I was like, yeah, the internet, that's great.
I just got rid of it got rid of me. I actually had a air grapevine at earthlink.net until about 2 years ago.
I had an Earthlink.
Earthlink was about one of the first ones.
Yeah, no, I had an Earthlink.
I just got rid of it. Actually, they got rid of me. They're like, we're done. This doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Crazy, crazy, crazy. It's just interesting to. I don't know. It's gonna be this is gonna be fun. This whole because doing these. What's good about these is when other people start coming on and you
get their perspective.
You just get to learn so much, man. I mean, and that's what I can't wait for is just the. I can't wait. Like I want to talk to younger kids. I want to talk to the younger, the young adult males and females. Like I talked to my daughter about it the other day. I said, man, she's like, well, I'll do it, but let's wait, because she's 16. I mean, she's worried about the image and the.
She needs to be.
Yeah,
I mean, shit.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is, no, she's worried about she's worried about her friends. But I'm just saying that I talked to her about it before I did this. I wanted her perspective. You see what I'm saying? Like, I want the younger I don't want to be the guy over here going, oh, everything I was saying is true, because they're not stupid. These kids are not dumb. They're not. They're not dumb. They're just smart in a different way that we didn't grow up. And their future is not anywhere. Even what I'm doing, right, not podcasting, but I'm just saying the last company that I started. They're not even thinking about getting in the construction. I mean, some of them are. It's not going to go away.
But that's where the kids who do that, they're probably going to make a lot of. Well, they have a chance of making a lot of money because there's just going to be less and less and less competition.
Right. But
because kids don't want it. My kids.
But there's too many easier opportunities that if they're smart, they're gonna take it.
Right,
they're gonna take it.
But listen, there's too many easy opportunities. But eventually, everybody's gonna infiltrate and flood all those opportunities, and then that drives the price down of everything. Because if everybody's doing it, then you don't really need people to do it. So the plumbers in the future are gonna be making buku money, because who the hell wants to go into plumbing? I mean, I had an AC business, and both of my kids said, "Go pound sand, Dad. I ain't dealing with that." And they went and got college degrees. My whole point is, if everybody is all educated, if everybody's doing it, then nobody's doing it. Because
the education,
you're not differentiating yourself.
The education thing's starting to go the other way.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic for a whole other time.
Yeah. Because they're finding out that they can get it done way easier than what they're doing now. Now, we're still needing engineers and all that other.
Oh, yeah.
But what I'm getting at is.
But I got to piss more than I need to talk about engineers. So, well, unless you want to talk about it while I'm gone, hey, let me hit my camera.
Well, I mean, we got a defiant guest. That's what happens when you get old. You have to take piss breaks all the time. So, we're about to wrap this one up. Okay. So yeah, we're about to wrap this up. But yeah, just this one is just loosey-goosey. Drink a few drinks. Get a little content out there. And trying to not do them so long. That's what I'm saying. These things go so fast because you just get going, and all of a sudden you just keep talking, and the time passes so fast. So that's why I'm going to be more I'm going to try to structure it a little bit better to where we don't get going off down these rabbit holes of stuff that it matters, but it doesn't really matter. I was just saying that.
All right, yeah.
This is one that we're just drinking on. It's not that big of a deal. So, yeah, it's been long enough. Let's wrap this deal up. So, we're developing the man kits and all that stuff right now as we speak, because there's a lot other cooler. There's a lot cooler swag today than what I had whenever the idea first came up. So I'm trying to really get some cool stuff that people will actually want.
Cutting edge.
And then to keep it cheap too. I don't want to be putting together something that people are like, oh no, I ain't gonna spend that kind of money on that. It needs to be cheap, fun, and easy, and all that. So I'm working on all that. We just wanted to get these podcasts out of the way. I've got some other guests that I'll be bringing on here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Tim always will be a regular around here, just because the dynamic that we have. Like I said, it's yin and yang, and we already kind of went through all this.
Me and him will be driving down the road. Nobody's trying to impress anybody or talk about anything, and we will have like an hour-long back-and-forth conversation where we're both just laughing so hard, man. It's just, we're just nailing everything, because we knew exactly what to say to crack the other guy up. But it's a different dynamic, with the cameras going and this and that. We're just not in our element. But maybe we can get to that at some point. But God, we crack each other up.
Well, no,
sometimes.
watching it back. It's you're your own worst critic, and that's why we need you to comment.
Give us more of this and less of that, or whatever you think.
Yeah, it's. But here's the thing: I am going to diligently have topics that we stick to and get to the point. But I'm trying to get the feel for what is this thing, and not is it going to work. I know it's going to work, but I don't want to do it in a way that people are like, man, he's faking it, he's doing this, and he's doing that. I want it to be real and on the fly, to where, because people don't want to listen to, I'm Brian Stelter, and tonight, it's just, we need to be real, and that's it. Just be yourself. But I will say that the one thing that I did not know is that the first couple, man, boy, I was letting the cuss words fly, boy. I know I cuss, but I didn't think I'd cuss that bad. I was like, God dang, man, you could clean that up a bit, boy. Yeah,
we're not in the Navy over here.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, man, get a handle on that, son. So, at any rate, we're gonna knock it off. So, jointhemensclub.com. You can't go get your man card yet or your man kit yet, because, again, I'm building all the kits right now as we speak, because I want there to be some cool shit in there that y'all really like and that we'll actually use, and it needs to be good, clean fun. But if you want to, there's really nothing to get on the website right now. There's really no point in me pumping the website at this point, but please like, subscribe, share, ring the bell. I'm going to get better at this, I promise. Ring the bell. We're on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, iHeart, and leave some comments to where I want your input. He wants your input. Everybody wants your input, because that's how we grow. We can't grow this thing if y'all aren't on board saying, hey, that was funny. That was kind of this. That was kind of, we need to know, because that's the problem with doing these long form things, is it's so easy to get derailed. And in the time, it's like I said, I don't even know what time we started this thing, but man, it's 7:23. We've been on here a couple of hours, and it feels like we've been on here for 30 minutes. Well, go ahead, because I've plugged everything, so go ahead.
Yeah, I think on YouTube we're up to like 28 subscribers, kind of thing. I think what we ought to do is maybe like every 50 subscribers, like just have a drawing of one of those, and send them some, whatever it is.
Yeah, no,
yuck monkey thing, or I'm really hell bent on this because I've been playing some cornhole lately. And I've dicked around with cornhole years ago and all that, but man, that's some fun stuff, man.
Well, no, it's popular now.
It really is, and there's a reason, because it's pretty damn fun. So I'm hell bent on getting some most man cornhole boards made, but maybe some most man coolers or something. But I think every 50 or 100 or whatever, just have a random drawing, and
there's going to be all of that. Yeah. Yeah, it's the I'm developing all that right now. Like that's the whole. But what would be really cool if y'all could is that, and it's 50 subscribers would feel like a real accomplishment for me because it's just getting started. Because then we can do YouTube lives. Like, we can do this live. We can do this live to where we don't have to, to where y'all can be interacting as whoever's in here. You can be involved in interacting live. So we need. Let's get that 50 subscribers in there if you don't mind. But please subscribe, like, share, follow, smash the button, the ring of the bell.
Yeah, what's the ring of the bell? I don't even know what that is.
Well, no, because the ringing the bell is. I think that gives them the signal that there's a new show out.
See, I'm clueless.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'll just sit here and talk.
The dinosaur.
You handle that.
Yeah, the dinosaur over here.
The guy with my luggage in a brown paper sack.
Yeah, no, what it does, it notifies them that there's a new show out.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't know I don't know everything about YouTube and all this stuff either. I've got a producer that I pay to do all this stuff, so that's why us hitting these cameras and doing all this stuff. I bought the wrong cameras. I didn't know they had a timer on them, so I'm working on getting some better cameras that don't have timers. But again, this guy, I don't even know how old he is. He's probably 25. I mean, he came in here. It would have took me a month to try to figure out that damn camera. He came in here in 5 minutes and had it fixed. It wasn't even 5 minutes. He was like, that thing right there was another story that I was just like, I kind of figured it out. But I'm talking the real inner workings of what makes it really work. It's where you just turn it on and let it go.
Yeah, right? They don't know what you're talking about. Tell them or don't tell them.
No, we had I've got an auto switcher that switches. Like when I talk in the mic, the camera switches. I'm just talking about all the broadcasting equipment, period.
Yeah, he's a concrete guy. He's not an electronic guy, so it was a learning curve for him for sure. Hell, he's got a damn ball floating around here that it's magleved over here. You can't tell. But trust me, you can see air under that thing. It's a magnetic spinning ball.
Oh, yeah. No.
See, this is more my style back over here with the lava lamp. That's what I grew up with. Now people grow up with spinning globes.
Yeah, no, so I ordered some, and I was pissed that they didn't come in. The ice storm screwed it up. But I found these, and we're going to cut it after this, but I found these, it's like it's a picture, but what it is there's sand on the bottom. It's a circle. I'll show you but you flip the thing over, and it's like remember the old time?
An hourglass.
An hourglass, right?
The Wizard of Oz.
Okay, but no, this has got water and soap in it
where I've seen those.
To where when they fall, it creates like mountains and
yeah, they've had those forever. Trust me, it's not new technology.
Well, no, but these are all lit and LED. They change colors. And,
yeah, they probably didn't have LED when I was there.
Yeah, nah, you don't know what I'm talking about on these. I can guarantee you that. These are badass. But I'm saying the way. But I was hoping that I could have one on each side.
Well,
at any rate, all right, we're wrapping it up. Y'all have a good night.
Thanks for being with us. But again, hopefully again, or thanks for the first time.
Yeah.
Until next time.
Yeah, and thank you to all Tim's because like I said, I haven't sent this out to my contacts or my so a lot of all of the viewership that we've got is because of you and your people. Because I didn't want to just create this storm. I didn't know if it was going to work. I didn't know if it was going to get liked. I didn't know. We didn't know.
Yeah, so he just lets me get all my knucklehead buddies.
No.
But honestly, I have gotten more text messages back, which I wish everybody would have just posted it for everybody to see, but I got a bunch of text messages back about it, and they're all funny and cool and hilarious. And so if you people are out there just thinking about saying, just
say it.
Post it. Do it. I want to hear it.
So thanks to all 10. Now, I do have a marketing company out of California that handles a lot of this stuff, but whoever on Tim's account came through on all the views and thank you. I appreciate it, and I appreciate it, Tim, because I just didn't want it to be like a mosh pit of, you see what I'm saying? Once I started, I was like, well, shoot, man, let me let this run its course. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want, because people in the comments, if you watch YouTube and all that, people can get ruthless. You know what I mean? They get ruthless and stupid and do. So I'm going to let this one play out. And so, but thank you. And thank you, Tim, for doing what you did, because I had no clue that we were going to get that many views. We still don't know if people are just watching it twice or if we're watching it more than once, so we don't know what the numbers are accurate. But my producer was like, holy cow, this doesn't happen.
It's more than we deserve.
Yeah, he was like, he's like, this doesn't happen that often. I'm not saying we didn't go viral, okay?
Yeah.
Let's get it straight, but it did way better than what we thought. So thank you. We'll see you next time. I already plugged everything.
And there's more to come. We'll see you.
And thanks, Tim. And
sure, thank you.
Yeah, so we'll get out of here on that. Y'all have a good night. Thank you.